So from Gwangju, South Korea.
Now his first major league start.
Swung on and missed for strike three, and a good start for the right-hander. Strike three call. So with back-to-back strikeouts.
Extraordinary pitching talent. He was throwing his fastball in the mid-90s.
Strike three call. He's having a terrific year.
Swung on and missed. So works out of trouble again.
Yeah.
On the mound for the Mets, Albert Pujols says, hello, Jay. His 30th home run of the year, 99th RBI. It's 1-0 St. Louis. Hello, MVP, Mr. Pujols. 2-1 Cardinals, bags full, 2 outs. Perhaps I'm jumping the gun there, Stan. So gives up a grand slam to Bo Hart. Hart's first grand slam of his career, his unreal career. Second home run.
They held on to Drew. Here's Pujols, 15. Hart is flat. And now Drew hits one in the air to right center field, might get out. Back to Cedeno at the wall.
미국 프로야구 뉴욕 매치의 서재웅이 세인트루이스와의 경기에서 4이닝 동안 홈런 3개를 맞으며 7실점으로 패전 투수가 돼서 시즌 6승 달성에 실패했습니다. 이로써 서재웅은 최근 선발 등판한 8경기에서 단 1승도 올리지 못했습니다.
Since his recall from AAA has been outstanding, Brett Tomko has had an extremely disappointing year. A pretty good hitting pitcher, batting ninth. And Jay So, the right-hander, who hasn't won in his last 7 starts, is on the mound for the Mets.
His last win on...
They held on to Drew. Here's Pujols hitting one to center field. Back is Perez at the wall to wave goodbye. And Albert Pujols has hit his 30th home run. 1-2 pitch, rolling. Hits it into left field on a line, and Floyd won't get to it. 1 pitch. Martinez looped one into left field for a base hit. Got their top 2 guys. Runners going, and they advance to second and third on a ground out by Cairo.
Guys next year.
Matheny grounds one to short. Roland will come in to score. It's an RBI ground out and a 2-0 St. Louis lead.
First Korean pitcher to ever play for the Mets.
That's a leadoff base hit. Jay So is on with his 4th knock of the season. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Cedeno lines one into left field. Play for So out at second. The bunt is perfect. And that was... hits him, and that forces home a run to make it 2-1. June with a tear in his groin. That's ball 4 up and in, a 1-out walk. Cairo hits one into deep left field. Back is Floyd at the wall. It's off the top of the wall.
And the base is loaded. That's one of those circumstances.
And Matheny. Hart into left center field. Back is Perez. On the run. Won't get there. This ball is gone. A grand slam by Bo Hart. Been up. Flat. And now Drew hits one in the air to right center field. Might get out. Back is Cedeno at the wall. It's gone. Home run Drew. Back to back, and it's 7-1 St. Louis in the fourth. Productive at the plate. As that's lined into left field. Clark off the end of the bat into center. Did he get enough? Back is Drew. It is gone. Went down to get it, and an impressive home run by Clark.
Niners corner still going strong.
A leadoff walk. Pujols is aboard. 1-1 to Roland. Line drive base hit into left. And Pujols will turn, and more situation. And Matheny plugs the gap in left center field. One run will score. That's Roland. Eduardo Perez will score, and Miguel.
Local.
That's into center field. Palmeiro going back, won't get it. One hop and off the wall for a double.
Orozco the year before.
Ground ball to the right side. Championship. 0-1 pitch. Hart to his right. Throws on the run for the out. In to score is Witt. And that got away from Matheny. Vance Wilson will start the inning.
The ball's going to be right there. You don't think if it isn't there that a hitter's going to swing at it.
And now a pass ball, his second of the season. That's a fair ball. It hits the bag. Vance Wilson will come home. That makes it a 10-5 game. Here's a 1-1 to Wigginton. Not even close, and Matheny can't do much with that pitch. Down to second is Phillips on ball two. His 1-2 pitch. Hit right under the glove of Pujols, and this game will continue. In to score is Phillips, and it's a 10-6 this ninth inning. Wow. That will be wild pitch number 3 of off Isringhausen's glove, and that is Renteria too late.
Run on deck.
That's hit hard and into left field. One run scores, that's Clark. Going to third is McEwing. Down to second is Gonzalez. And there's a base hit into left field. 2 more runs will score, and it's 10-9. A pretty good hitting pitcher, batting ninth. And Jay So, the right-hander, who hasn't won in his last 7 starts, is on the mound for the Mets.
His last win on June 17th against the Florida Marlins. Miles per hour in the first inning is very crucial. We'll explain why. And Tony La Russa with 7 right-handers in the lineup today against So, and that's unusual. Normally you hit left-handers against him. My kingdom for a win. That reference, by the way, Shakespeare in the Park would bring out Willie Shakes early today.
Bo Hart will lead it off for the Cardinals, who has now had 169 at-bats, and he is still hitting .320. And defensively, he has been stunning with how good he has been, filling right in for Fernando Vina, a Gold Glove Award winner at second base. First pitch of the day from Jay So is a bit high for ball 1.
90 miles an hour. Art Howe telling us that if So hits 90 miles an hour in the first inning, he should have a good day. 2 starts ago, he gave up 5 runs to the Expos in the first inning, throwing 84 miles an hour. And there's no variance. If you throw 84, then your changeup, there's no variance. But when you're throwing 90 or 91, then throw the 75-mile-an-hour fastball or changeup, you're a lot better off.
1-1 pitch is chopped foul outside third. There's a changeup, 78 miles per hour. 1-2 on Hart, with Drew and Albert Pujols to follow. Cardinals come in 57 and 52, 2 games out behind Houston in the NL Central. 1-2 to Hart, and a strikeout starts the day for Jay So, the right-hander. Bo Hart is gone, and he came right after the Cardinal leadoff hitter.
After the changeup, the fastball inside. That would be something that Brett Tomko could do a little more of. Pitch guys inside.
Defensively for the Mets, they are 15th in the National League, a 16-team league with their fielding percentage. And they shuffle their outfielders around quite a bit. This one's going to stay on the infield for the former Cardinal, Joe McEwing. A high changeup, and Drew is the second out of the first inning. J.D. Drew, who rounds and heads back to the Cardinal dugout,
left fielder,
was almost a foregone conclusion heading into the trading deadline period that Drew was going to be the piece of property moved by the Cardinals to try to fortify their pitching. Nothing was out there and available that the Cardinals thought would severely change. They held on to Drew. Here's Pujols hitting one to center field. Back is Perez at the wall to wave goodbye.
There's an adage in baseball that obviously Albert Pujols has. Albert Pujols, after Drew swung and made an out, Pujols cranks one to center.
And now Renteria on the first pitch fouls it out of play off to the right.
Oh.
In his third major league season, is putting together and totaling numbers. And it just hasn't been done at the rate that he is doing it in his first 3 years with the Cardinals.
This year's going to be better than the first two.
Which is stunning to think that last year, in his second year, he finished second to Bonds in the MVP voting. Right now, he is, I would imagine, right at the top of the list as Edgar Renteria takes a ball, one strike. Pujols started the day first in the major leagues in average by a mile, hitting .372. That's strike two on Renteria. Third in the National League in home runs with 29. Now he's up to 30. He is 4 home runs shy of Barry Bonds, who leads the National League with 33 home runs. And then in the RBIs, he started the day 8 short of Preston Wilson, now 7 shy of him with 99. And a good play by So as he takes care of that ball hit back to him by Renteria on a changeup. Hart struck out. J.D. Drew popped up, and Albert Pujols does what he has done since he's come to the big league level. Homers to put the Cardinals on top in the first. Scott Rowland leads it off for St. Louis. They lead 1-0 on a Pujols first inning home run. And Rowland takes one in for strike one. Rowland, Tino Martinez, and Miguel Cairo for the Cardinals. And Jim Edmonds, who's feeling better and better. We talked to him before the game. He thinks he will play when the Cardinals return home and take on the Marlins this week. There's been some thought that he would go on the disabled list and the Cardinals would backdate it. So if he plans on playing this week, that might make him more available as a pinch hitter today than he has been the past couple. 1-1 pitch. Strike two. Say that because if a player doesn't play over a certain amount of time, the organization can then backdate that time as basically time spent on the disabled list. You make an appearance and all that time goes away and you have to start over fresh with 15 more days. Rowland with a defensive swing to stay alive.
It would be hard for a hitter like Jim Edmonds with his power, who completes his swing like he does, to pinch hit instead of playing regularly because of the type of injury he has. It's the rotator cuff on his right shoulder. And you were telling me, Joe, that that came from diving for balls, hurting him during the All-Star game, and I guess for the last 5 or 6 weeks.
It's something that's really bothered him the past couple of years. It hurt him early in the season. It had been getting better and better, but then he really hurt it in the home run derby. 1-2 pitch. Rowland hits it into left field on a line, and Floyd won't get to it before it takes a hop. Rowland is on with a leadoff hit. I wonder how Jeannie Zelasco's doing. Let's find out.
Chattanooga choo-choo.
So they're calling up guys from Double-A in Cincinnati as they try to retool that organization as Martinez out in front. Fouls it back, strike one. Tino Martinez has had a good, if not great, year. The 1 month that's killing his average was May, when he hit only 157. He's hit at least 300 in every other month. Production, 49 RBIs, 10 home runs. Down and in, 1 ball, 1 strike.
So we've had the two guys that will probably finish 1 and 2 in the MVP voting homer in their first at bat today. Albert Pujols for the Cardinals and Barry Bonds for the Giants.
1-1 pitch. Martinez loops one into left field for a base hit. And it's 2 on with nobody out for St. Louis here in the second. Today's Sprint Virtual Manager question is this. In your opinion, which team was most successful in the July trading period? The Yankees, Benitez, Orozco, Boone, and Gabe White. The Red Sox, they'd get my vote. Kim, Sauerbeck, Williamson, and Suppan. The Giants getting Sidney Ponson. Or the Mets, Reds, and Pirates dumping salary. You can answer today's question using your PCS Vision phone from Sprint. Or log on to foxsports.com and type in the keyword MLB on Fox.
Giants would get my vote. I think Sidney Ponson best prepares the Giants for postseason.
Me, if I were to take time out from this intense broadcast and type in my answer, it would be Theo Epstein. And the job that 29-year-old general manager has done, basically adding 2 closers before the trading deadline, a starter to back up their top 2 guys, runners going, and they advanced to second and third on a ground out by Cairo. He got the starter in Jeff Suppan, who, when you look at what he's done over the past month, is a tremendous addition in my mind to back up Pedro Martinez and Derek Lowe. And those are the main deals. The other side is the Yankees, Tim, and to me, because of the lack of depth in their organization, they had to use their one key trading piece, Brandon Clausen, and in my mind overpaid to get Aaron Boone from Cincinnati.
I don't agree with that.
Okay.
I think Aaron Boone is going to fortify that Yankee. And, you know, when you have a chance, we've said it most every year at this time of year, when you have a chance, you got to go for the throat, develop guys next year.
Matheny grounds one to short. Roland will come in to score. It's an RBI ground out and a 2-0 St. Louis lead as Matheny knocks in his 34th run of the year.
Cardinals opened the inning with 2 base hits, but it was the hit and run, getting the runners to second and third with the infield back. And we talked about Art House saying he would play the infield in, but not this inning, trailing by a run. Had the infield been in, then they have a play at the plate on Scott Rowland.
Good hitting pitcher is Brett Tomko. My point with Clausen is he was the one young guy that they could rely on to fill in at the back of their rotation next year, which is old and very unsettled, as Tomko grounds one to Reyes. And Jose makes the play. The inning is over. The Cardinals get 1.
And my response to that would be that's the reason they signed John Lieber, hoping he'll be ready for next year.
It's a big hope. 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the second at Shea. Top of the order for St. Louis, Bo Hart, J.D. Drew, and Albert Pujols. 2-0 Cardinals on a first inning home run by Pujols and a second inning RBI ground out by Matheny. 0-1 pitch to Hart. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nice sized crowd here today on Build-A-Bear Workshop Teddy Bear Day here at the ballpark. Shea Bear, that's what they gave out to the first 12,000 kids that walked through the gates. That's into the right field corner and slicing foul for strike 2. It's actually a St. Louis company, Build-A-Bear Workshop, but they have the giveaway up here at Shea Stadium. And there's an example of Shea Bear. So the kids will leave happy, no matter what happens today to their beloved Mets here at Shea. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jay So gets it past Bo Hart, racks up his second strikeout. He's gotten Hart twice today. Our RadioShack.com trivia question on September 27, 1998. Mark McGwire hit his then record 70th home run of the season. It was a 3-run shot. Who were the other 2 Cardinals on base when he hit it?
That's a good question.
And you're looking at a hint.
Oh.
And there's another hint somewhere in this ballpark.
Probably on the bench and not playing today because Edmonds would have hit in front of it. not right, huh?
0-1 pitch. Drew popped up his first time. Now he's in the hole 0-2. Quick hints? Yep, that was your hints.
Some hints. Thanks. So it's J.D. Drew and wasn't Albert Pujols.
Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
You didn't even see the flash of
I saw the flash. Yeah, I couldn't determine who it was. So it wasn't Albert Pujols because he wasn't up there, right?
That's too far inside. So thought he had his second strikeout of the inning. It's 2-2 on Drew.
Albert was the Rookie of the Year in 2001, so I don't think he was up the last 30 days, so it was not he.
That's a ground ball to the right side, and Joe McEwing can't make the play to his left. A one-out single for J.D. Drew.
Aha! Aha! He's in a white uniform.
The left fielder, number 5.
That was
Albert
good.
Pujols.
Somewhere in your brain, looking at the flashes on your screen, all of the information was there. It's just a question of you being able to unlock it.
Whether my brain thinks quickly enough.
Oh, it's there.
No.
It's there.
So it's J.D. Drew and Joe McEwing. You've just told us that.
Albert Pujols, who homered his first time up, but is still 4 home runs shy of Barry Bonds, who leads the league with 34, takes ball 1.
High fastball.
And goodbye, fastball.
Ball hard.
410 plus feet away to straightaway center field.
Art Howe talking before the games. How do you pitch this guy? He doesn't know. Not many know.
That's low. It's 2-0. His mentality, Tim, is to take the ball up the middle or the other way. And yet when you work him inside, he's got such quick hands that he can hammer the ball out to left.
The one impressive thing about Pujols is the ability to handle the ball on the hands inside, right there.
2-1.
Backup breaking ball right there. There are a lot of right-handers, most left-handers, that can handle the ball around the knees inside. But it's the ability to hit the pitch right in this area that characterizes Pujols. That pitch right there. Now, he fouled it off, but he can handle that pitch. His plate coverage is just superb. You can see So trying to come inside on Pujols, but just because he fouled it off, don't think you can chew him up in there.
See the numbers with his production: 356 career RBIs, 5th most all time. He's not even finished with his 3rd major league season. What a play by Wigginton. And a force out, 5-4, as Pujols beats it at first. And there's that pitch inside that Pujols turned on. But a spectacular play by Wigginton on a hard hit ball.
To get the lead runner and getting J.D. Drew, McEwing's thrown predictably too late. But you're right, that fastball in on the hands. And Pujols, after fouling one off, turned on one, and it took a great play by Wigginton. That ball down a little bit. He is some hitter.
The gals and guys in the truck have a graphic about the most home runs the first 3 major league seasons. And when you look at the names and the totals and realize, as Renteria chops one back to So, that Pujols isn't nearly finished with his 3rd major league season, the numbers he has put up have been staggering. 2-0 Cardinals. It'll be So, Cedeno, and Reyes coming up for the Mets in the bottom of the 3rd. Jay So first up, and he takes a ball up and away from Brett Tomko. So, then Cedeno, then Reyes for the Mets, who trail St. Louis 2-0. Pretty good rip by So, who has only 3 hits and 32 trips to the plate this season. South Korea is Jay So, 26-year-old right-hander, and that's part of his fan club.
First Korean pitcher to ever play for the Mets.
That's a leadoff base hit. Jay So is on with his 4th knock of the season. And they're applauding in the upper reaches of the ballpark.
Obviously a huge
Right
Korean
fielder,
population
number
here in the New York area.
Roger Cedeno.
Happy to see So go to center field to lead off the third inning.
Jay started. Cedeno with an infield hit his first time up. There the numbers for So. Then a bunt base hit by Reyes, and the Mets had. For St. Louis, it'll be Roland, Martinez, and Miguel Cairo with the lead down to 1 for the Cardinals. We talked about the trade deadline, Tim, coming and going, but people can't make the mistake that because July 31st has come and gone, that trades won't be made. And now with financial constraints, deals can still be made if players clear waivers. And a lot of players should clear waivers, you would think, because of the tight budget constraints across baseball. A lot of the big money players would clear waivers, and then it's up to the two general managers to work out a deal, most times to trade money for money to fill a need. And that's how the Cardinals, I believe now, will focus their attention during the month of August, trying to get that pitcher or pitchers to help their cause.
An August trade 2 years ago, huge for the Cardinals, and one of the big reasons they're only 2 games behind Houston.
That's Woody Williams, who's a 14-game winner this season. But the Cardinals did it, traded basically the same money in Ray Lankford to San Diego to get Woody Williams. They traded those payroll constraints, and the Cardinals ended up with one of the best right-handers in the league as Roland is jammed and he pops it up. ghyyuk with his glasses on, 1 away. But I think all in all, the Cardinals, the players, were surprised and disappointed that they didn't make a deal.
I think primarily because Ghhyuk, the general manager, Walt Ghhyuk, has been so active during the trading deadline in past years.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think because of that, I think Ghhyuk is surprised and disappointed that they didn't get something done that made sense without having to overpay to get a mediocre arm that might not be enough to make a difference either the rest of this season or in the postseason for Tony La Russa. 1 ball, no strikes on Martinez, who singled his first time up. That's foul.
No, Joe, there is no trade. There is no salary cap per se in baseball. But when it comes to the trading deadline, you would think there was a salary cap in baseball. Or when the season starts, you would think that there was a salary cap in baseball. Because when they hit the ceiling, they don't want to spend anymore.
Cardinals are over the $80 million mark in their payroll. They started the season over budget. They remain over budget. And that was also a big factor in limiting what Walt Ghhyuk could do adding to this team. The Cardinal ownership group adamant about not adding more salary.
It's hard to believe that the New York Yankees have more than double the payroll of the St. Louis Cardinals. $170 million for the Yankees, $80 million for the Cardinals. Man.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on. Martinez, 2-2. I think, again, we'll state it, the additions made to the Red Sox compared to the additions made to the Yankees in season, I think have been more impressive and more to the point of what was needed for those respective teams as ball 3 drops down and into Martinez. Boone is definitely an upgrade at third base, but a lot of people expected to see a Darren Erstad or a J.D. Drew, a left-handed hitting outfielder, added to that team. And the lefty they added after Orozco's Gabe White, who's been out since the middle of June with a tear in his groin. That's ball 4 up and in, a 1-out walk.
David DeLucci, the right fielder, paying early dividends. He had a couple of hits in a tough loss for the Yankees last night. They lost on a 10th inning home run by Miguel Tejada.
Miguel Cairo.
Oakland winning 3-2. Oakland still 3 games behind the Seattle Mariners in the American League West, but only a half a game behind the Boston Red Sox for the wild card.
1 on 1 out, Miguel Cairo, who grounded out, but a productive out, advancing the runners to second and third on a hit and run. Back in the second, is at the plate.
And then there's a strange case of Raul Mondesi, who had he not flown to the West Coast on his own, probably would not have been traded to the Arizona Diamondbacks. But it was his mood, and he has been one that has been moody throughout his career. Cairo trying to go the other way with that swing. But now he's with the Diamondbacks. He joined Arizona when they played Florida on Wednesday night.
Move also tells you what the Yankee organization thinks of Drew Henson, their third baseman at AAA, to make the deal for Aaron Boone, who is signed through next year but open to talks for a long-term deal. Cairo takes outside, a ball and a strike.
Henson signing a $17 million deal. And from what we understand, he's been paid about half of that, and has said that he wants to devote his career to baseball and does not want to go to football. I think Houston is his
right.
the team that drafted him, or that's interested in signing him should he elect and opt not for baseball.
They did draft him.
Oh, they did draft him, yeah.
A check on the runner, Martinez at first. 1 out in the inning. 2-1 St. Louis in the 4th.
He's kind of wandering into that area that is your
area.
for you.
I'm here. Cairo hits one into deep left field. Back is Floyd at the wall. It's off the top of the wall. And Martinez will end up at third. Cairo into second on a 1-out double.
Well, that was a real hanger right there. And big league hitters jump all over these types of pitches. A little spinner on the inside part of the plate. Hits about halfway up the fence. And Cairo with a double.
That presents Matheny with another RBI chance. And they're going to walk Matheny and load him up for Tomko, who is anything but a sure out.
I wouldn't do this. I'd pitch to Matheny. I mean, the 8th place hitter is an 8th place hitter for a reason. If there were 2 outs, it'd be different. But with 1 out, Tomko could strike out. You still have a very feisty Bo Hart at the plate. Plus, Tony La Russa has told you countless times that he will squeeze under any circumstances. And certainly with the pitcher hitting and the bases loaded, that's one of those circumstances.
That'll be the case for Tomko, who grounded out his first time.
Number 30, Brent Tomko.
5 RBIs for Tomko. 11 hits and 36 trips to the plate. So now the infield for the Mets creeps in on the corners, and up the middle they're in just a bit, hoping for a double play ball. Big swing, strike 1. Jay So has 2 strikeouts, and he wants to talk to Phillips, the Mets first baseman / catcher. The Mets are hopeful that within the next 10 days or so they will get Mike Piazza back. Went through drills yesterday, close to going out on a rehab assignment, and then will be activated and finish the season. That's low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Piazza's done a lot of that. 342 career home runs as a catcher. 1-1 pitch. 2-1.
When a squeeze is on, the third base coach will flash it to the hitter, and then he'll walk to the runner at third base and whisper a word sign to him. Now, the word sign is a specific word, and the runner at third base can't break too soon. But with 2 balls and 1 strike, a good time to put it on.
Not close. It's 3-1. So the count in Tomko's favor. Art Howe electing to walk Mike Matheny to load him up, and So has fallen behind 3-1. That's popped up to the right side. It will stay in play, and a big out for So as Tony Clark puts it away. 2 down. And now it takes a hit or something unusual with Bo Hart walking to the plate.
The second baseman, number 31, Bo Hart.
Bo Hart. Bo short for Bodhi, B-O-D-H-I. That's one name I've never seen in any language. B-O-D-H-I.
It's kind of a surfer name.
Yeah. Hey, Bodhi.
He really wasn't even considered a prospect coming into this season, and he has been phenomenal as he has struck out twice today, however, and falls behind on the count 0-1.
Went 2 for 3 in his first game, his debut back on June 17th. And the Cardinal fans rightly love this guy. Talk about a guy with a big heart. No pun intended.
5th year in pro ball. Bases loaded, 2 out. And that's low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two walks and a double in the inning. St. Louis trying to add to their 2-1 4th inning lead. The runners on the right. Martinez, Cairo, and Matheny. Hart into left center field. Back is Perez. On the run. Won't get there. This ball is gone. A grand slam by Bo Hart. And it's a 6-1 St. Louis lead as Hart hits his first major league grand slam and his second big league home run. What were you saying about not walking the number 8 hitter?
Well, when you walk the number 8 hitter, unless the pitcher hits into a double play, you elect to pitch to the number 1 hitter. Now, you don't expect that to happen. My gosh. A grand slam home run by Bo Hart.
A lot of these pitches from Jay So have been up. Flat. And now Drew hits one in the air to right center field. Might get out. Back is Cedeno at the wall. It's gone. Home run Drew. Back to back, and it's 7-1 St. Louis in the 4th.
Bo Hart hit a slider. J.D. Drew hit a high fastball. The pitch to Albert Pujols, a high fastball. Tino Martinez, a double, his first time up. A high changeup. Flat slider. High fastball.
So Jay So, who is 0-5 in his last 7 starts, is failing again here in the 4th inning. 2 out, nobody on, and Albert Pujols at the plate. A visit from Vern Rule, who has had his work cut out for him since the season began. First year with Art Howe in his first year in that dugout. And little did they know what they signed up for with the Mets as you look at the location of that grand slam hit by Hart, and then the next batter, J.D. Drew.
Same longitude for both of them.
Pujols pops it up into right. McEwing and Cedeno comes in late to make the play and end the inning. But it's a 5-run frame for St. Louis, and even on Build-A-Bear Workshop Day, they're booing here at Shea. 7-1 St. Louis after 3.5.